This is a general reading for entertainment purposes only. Watching my content does not constitute an advisory relationship such as therapy or legal counsel. I am not a certified medical or therapeutic professional, and my readings do not constitute professional advice. My readings are for confirmation of what you already intuitively know for yourself, not to get answers from me. General readings like this are like forecasting the weather for the entire planet. I can say that it is summer in the northern hemisphere, but summer looks very different from region to region, so please use your best judgment, take what resonates and leave the rest. And now, let's get back to the video. Hello, my name is Bee, and I am the Moon Lodge Mystic. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a pick a card reading forecasting the summer season. So this is for the summer solstice all the way to the autumnal equinox, so from June 21st to September 21st. So we're going to be focusing on the summer season, and I wanted to share a little bit about summer before we dive in. This is going to be mostly from like a Taoist or like Chinese medicine type of perspective, and I just want to give the quick disclaimer that I'm not a practicing Chinese medicine practitioner or physician. This is just information that I've picked up through my own practice studying the Tao Te Ching and doing Tai Chi and working with my acupuncturist, and just my own personal studies of Chinese medicine for laymen and like the 5 elemental system. And I found it really useful for kind of working in the natural rhythms of life and nature, and I just want to share this information because I think it's really helpful. So the season of summer, and especially the summer solstice, denotes a time when the light is at its strongest in our lives. The days are quite longer during this time, and we feel the heat of the sun during the warm weather. We feel more energy to go outside and be active. The sun is like vitalizing us. We're kind of like plants photosynthesizing, and we're getting all of our energy. It's really great. From a Chinese medicine perspective, summer is associated with the fire element. The fire element is represented by the heart and small intestines in the body, and also I think the pericardium. But mostly like we're really focusing on the heart. The heart is especially important because it governs the emotion of joy and is the emperor of the body. The heart is responsible for governing blood and our mind. When the heart is restless, it is difficult for the mind to settle down, and we experience anxiety and insomnia and all that. Therefore, it is important to take care of the heart during this time and be mindful of the summer heat, because the heat can have a really destructive influence on our bodies if we're not balancing it out. It kind of like burns up the yin in our body and leaves us susceptible to heat exhaustion and heat disorders. So like heat in the intestines would be like constipation, dryness, and things like that, or like indigestion, sour stomach, things like that. But also palpitations, sweating, being like excessively what is it? I don't want to say manic, but it's kind of like when you feel like your motor just won't stop revving, and you start to be a little loopy from that. So those are all like associated with heat. So since the summer is so hot, especially during the peak of summer, it is important to be mindful to protect and nourish the yin in your body. So this means taking breaks to cool down and rest during the hottest part of the day. Try to get out of the sun when it is the strongest, hottest, brightest. This is, just recommended general advice, especially if you're prone to like sunburn or you're worried about UV exposure. Usually dermatologists and doctors will recommend this because it really helps reduce your risk of burning up and being too well, like the UV rays of the sun drain you. Like it's more than just skin burns and stuff like that. Like the UV damage, it actually makes your body work harder to try and repair all that damage, and so you get drained more, and that's why you feel so fatigued after being in the sun all day. And then it's also like your body has to use a lot of resources to regulate your temperature when you're out in the heat a lot. And so you become very depleted easily. So taking breaks during the middle of the day, even taking a nap in the afternoon, especially since the days are so long, people are often sleeping later and waking up earlier because the sun isn't going down, at least in the Pacific Northwest, until like after 9 p.m. And then it's up like before 5 a.m. So, you know, I personally, once summer hit and once we had like daylight savings time, my whole sleep routine got thrown off because now I don't get tired until 9 p.m. I used to be like an 8 p.m., even sometimes 7:30 p.m. to bed type of person and really early to rise. Now I'm going to bed at 9 and I'm rising at like 6 a.m., which I know is still really early to most people, but usually in the winter I'm up by 4:30 and I'm fully up and refreshed and ready for the day. So this is like a difference to me. If you find yourself feeling too hot, like remember to drink a lot of water, and you can try eating some cooling foods like fruits, salads, and like mint and chrysanthemum tea is really helpful during this time. But you also kind of like, you might feel tempted to reach for an iced drink or like a snow cone or ice cream or something like that. Ice cold is actually really difficult on the digestive tract, because it uses up all that extra energy. Like I know people are usually advised to drink like ice water because supposedly it burns more calories. Well, technically it does, but it also like that harms your digestive system. Like it's working harder than it needs to, and so it's prone to burning out. And especially with the kinds of foods that we're eating these days where there's a lot of processed ingredients and pesticides and things like that, there's a lot that our body has to process. It's more than just the food that we're eating. So whatever you can do to ease that burden on your digestive system is going to be really helpful. But personally, like the rule of thumb I follow is that I don't get iced drinks. Like I had an icy this afternoon, but I only do that when I literally feel hot inside my body. Because I can be out in the sun and the sun can be really warm, but I'm not necessarily feeling overheated or anything like that. And I'm sure if you like notice, you'll probably notice this if you try and pay attention to it. There are times when you feel too hot. Like think of a sweaty summer night and you're trying to go to sleep, but you can't because you just feel too hot and it's really miserable. That's a good time to drink like an ice water or a salad with like a bunch of raw vegetables or something like that, or like mint tea and ice cream. That's when it's okay. But when you're just feeling regular and fine, then that can be a little too shocking for your digestive system. I personally, when I stopped drinking iced drinks and salads and raw vegetables and stuff like that, I noticed a huge improvement to my digestive tract. I usually have IBS, and a lot of that has gone away or is only really impacted by my thyroid hormones these days, and not so much my eating habits. Another way to kind of help cool off or to balance out that fire element is to spend a lot of time in or near water. So swimming, taking cool showers or baths can be really helpful when you're feeling too hot. I always was told to kind of avoid air conditioning because the air blowing on you is wind, quote unquote, in Chinese medicine, and that can make you like sneeze and have rhinitis, so like your sinuses get clogged up and stuff like that. But I don't know, I think sometimes you have to kind of just, sometimes comfort is worth the sniffles, you know. I still use the AC in my car, and I also have a personal AC unit for those really hot days that I set up around me. And also avoiding spicy foods or excessive intake of like coffee or drying foods. This is just going to really help your body stay moist, because when you're really subjected to the fire element externally in your environment, you really need to focus on keeping your internal environment moist so that it doesn't dry up too much. And that's how you preserve your yin, because the yin is like moist, dark, wet, all that stuff. Yeah. But most of all, since the heart is associated with joy and mental ease and all of that, make sure that you are having fun and doing what brings you joy in your life during this summer season. There are plenty other times of the year that are available to us when we want to be serious and like really hard-nosed about our work and all that. This is really the time of year where we're being asked to just have fun and be playful and really take joy in what is around us, because the environment is supportive of that right now. So yeah. So with that out of the way, I'm going to move into the guided meditation. We have 4 piles today. This is pile 1, this is pile 2, this is pile 3, and this is pile 4. I am going to start by counting out 3 rounds of breath with gradually extended exhales. So the first inhale will be 4 counts, and the exhale will be 5 counts. Then the following inhale will be 5 counts, and the exhale that follows that will be 6 counts, and so on. Then I will guide through a grounding visualization and gradually bring your awareness back to the present moment. So with that out of the way, let's begin. So I guide you now to gently close your eyes. Bring awareness to your body. Notice how you feel inside your body where you are seated. Take a moment now to make yourself just a little bit more comfortable than before we began. Notice how comfortable you feel now as you begin to inhale 2, 3, 4, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now allow your breathing to return to its normal pace. Become aware of the soles of your feet. On your next exhale, feel the soles of your feet exhale out roots, climbing down deep into the earth. Feel your roots twist and grow into the soil, feeling the gentle pressure of the earth holding your roots firmly in place. Become aware of a golden light energy emanating from the core of the earth. On your next inhale, feel your root system inhale that golden earth light into your roots. Feel that light travel up through your roots and inhale deeply in through the soles of your feet. With every inhale, feel that light travel further up your body, filling up every cell with healing light. Take a moment to feel the golden light warming your body and emanating from you as it gets drawn up through the earth and up through your feet. And now, on your next exhale, feel yourself exhale the golden light out the crown of your head, taking the shape of a closed flower bowl. With every exhale, feel that bulb grow with the stored earth energy until finally it is ready to blossom open. And you will feel intuitively when it is ready. When that flower is finally blossomed open, you can sense and feel the earth light surrounding you and filling your aura. This light is here to protect and guide your energies to receive divine guidance from this reading. Feel that light envelop you in a beautiful shield, like an egg, protecting your energies. Feeling grounded, protected, and ready to receive Spirit's message, begin to bring your awareness to the room around you. Notice any sounds or smells. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, or maybe stretch your arms and legs. And slowly, as it feels right, gently open your eyes and gaze upon these 4 piles. Choose whatever pile you feel most drawn to. You might be drawn to multiple piles. You might not feel drawn to any piles, and that's okay. If you don't feel drawn to any piles, that just means there might not be a message here for you today. If you feel drawn to multiple piles, then there are things you need to hear from those piles, or sometimes they just have similar messages. Either way, make note of your pile selection and then use the video description or chapters to navigate to the section of the video associated with that pile. I will see you there. See you later. Hi, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. You chose this card, and these cards are like little blessing cards. We're going to save it for the end, is what I'm feeling like. And we're just going to dive right into the tarot cards and see what's going on for your summer season. And look what we have here. We're starting off strong with the Magician. The Ace of Wands. The Lovers. We have the Three of Wands and the Four of Wands. Ooh, and the Three of Swords. Pile number 1, I always feel like these 2 figures are the same person in the card. And what I'm seeing here is that you're in a very powerful position of, like, you know, we've got this really repetitive symbol of holding this rod. Like, you've got all the power in your hand right now. You have everything that you need. You're feeling like things are just flowing through you. You're able to really channel your intention into your manifestations and feeling like a huge creativity. I also, whenever I see the Ace of Wands in this particular card, it's like I feel like you're being presented with something, and the cloudy, I'm really drawn to how the clouds aren't like white clouds. They look almost kind of stormy. So it's kind of like the storm is clearing away, and now that it's clearing away, you're able to see more opportunities, and you're able to have like more of, let's see, like before the landscape was really stormy, and there were like rain clouds and thunder, and water was crashing down, and it made everything really topsy-turvy, and you couldn't really figure out what you were doing. And now that's cleared away, and now that it's cleared away, it's like you can see your environment for what it is, like it's unclouded, and through that you're able to really it's almost like you're able to project your imagination and visualize what you can do with this environment and how you can really engage with it and work with it. You're not feeling overwhelmed or cautious. You're like looking at, oh my gosh, look at all of this, all these things that are available to me to interact with, to engage with, to utilize and take advantage of in ways that I haven't been able to before, because maybe I was scared or worried or too rigid or something like that. And then we have the Lover's card, and on one hand, you know, this could be suggesting a relationship, but I really feel like I'm really drawn to the angel looking over the couple here. So it's kind of like almost looking down and watching this couple and being really enjoying their passion. And the Lover's card also to me is all about like following your passion and doing your heart's desire. And when we're talking about summer in particular and the heart meridian and the heart organ, this is really about following your heart and making a choice from love, and not a choice based in fear or self-limiting beliefs and stories that you're telling yourself about what you're capable of or what you're not capable of, which is this gets into the mirroring of the Devil card and the Lover's card. Let's see if I can pull the Devil out. Oh, it was literally on the top of the deck. But when you look at these cards, you see how they're kind of similar to each other in a way. There, it's a little more centered. You have the Lovers again, but this time they're chained, and there's the Devil here like overlooking them, and it's kind of like this oppressive power. Whereas the angel, he's almost doing the same thing, like he's got his hand up and he's kind of looking down on them, but it's not oppressive. It feels like a blessing more so, and it's like this is divinely orchestrated is the word I want to say. Whereas this is more like when you are making choices because you're disconnected from your spirit, right? And we also have the repeating of the fire, and like this angel has like hair that's almost on fire. This one, the Devil is like torching them, whereas this one, it's like the passion is burning, right? For those who are curious, we had Empress at the bottom of the deck. So you could be really feeling like you've come into this you've blossomed into a really nice, nurturing aspect of your personality that might have been dormant before. And maybe this was something intentional that you tried to call into your life. And from this vantage, it's like you're looking out, and what I see is the Magician returns here and is looking out at this celebration. There's this home, happy home, and it's like you're just observing. And I feel like there might be a breakup on the horizon, or it's like maybe seeing this scene brings up past heartaches. But more so I feel like this is like a third party kind of observing their environment and looking what's around them. And I'm seeing the ships coming in, and I'm thinking like you're looking at something that's coming in and coming down the road, or coming down the river, or coming downstream. I feel like these two kind of go together. Like, you know, we have the Three of Wands, and it's like there's this desire for a Four of Wands, but it's just not happening for some reason. Or yeah, ultimately, I don't feel like this Three of Swords is happening to you. I feel like you're watching it happen to someone that you care about, or just somebody, you know, or you're like looking out into the world, and you're experiencing this really great positive energy, and the experience of that is making you look out and kind of see like how much suffering there is in the world, and how much you wish that everyone could be feeling as happy and celebratory as you. And I guess when we're talking about that, I just want to say, like, it's not your job to make other people happy. And it's great to care about others, but also, like, everyone is able to access this same pathway that you're doing if they want to, you know. The best thing that you can do is just keep living your life authentically, and people will naturally get a little curious, you know, because sometimes people look towards inappropriate role models. You know, they get like the wrong idea about what it takes to be happy, because maybe they're online all the time and they see a lot of influencers on social media, or people who like only post like the greatest, most positive things about their life, and so they're comparing themselves to others. And this in itself is a different kind of comparison. Like, you're also comparing yourself to others, but you're doing it in a way that like diminishes your sense of worthiness, because it's like a type of survivor's guilt. Yeah, and maybe that's it. It's like you're questioning whether you really deserve to be this happy and this fulfilled when other people around you aren't experiencing that. But again, this comes back to like, that's not your problem if other people are not on the same page or wavelength as you. You know, they have the tools and ability to get the message and to get on that wavelength if they really want to. And not everybody is meant to do all this healing work and do this healing journey that you've been doing. You know, not everybody needs to do that to have a pretty satisfying life. And so just be careful not to make assumptions about the suffering of other people, because maybe they're happy like that. You know, not everybody has the courage or the resilience to face their deepest wounds, and that's why you shouldn't take for granted the strength that that you needed to possess to be able to get to this point. Like, congratulate yourself, because it's not easy to do this work, and it's not everybody is cut out for it. Of course, you know, we would love to model this for other people and to be able to get everyone on the same page, but you also have to allow for the fact that not everybody is able to do that, and it's not your job to convince people to be like you, basically. Just be concerned with your own happiness, and so long as you keep living authentically and showing up authentically as you are now, people will take notice and people will get curious if it's meant for them. You know, they'll turn to you to teach them, basically, and they might ask you questions or ask for your opinion on things, and you know, through those little interactions they can get some growth out of that. So let's see if we can clarify this, you know, Four of Wands and Three of Swords thing coming up. Okay, yeah, so the Six of Cups came out, and this is like pure joy. I think this kind of just reaffirmed what I was already saying. It's like you feel so good about the work you've been doing that, you know, to you it's like, why wouldn't everyone want this? I want to give this to everybody. But just recognizing that it's not your job to heal people, you know, and if you are going to Nope, that one lost me. The other message that wanted to come out with the Six of Cups is like, Six of Cups is about a kind of nostalgia or returning to your inner child. And so when this card comes out, it could also be that like watching people, watching this Four of Wands, so seeing other people being happy or celebrating and stuff like that might bring up memories from the past that were where you didn't receive that, or you didn't have that type of experience and you really desired it and you wished you could have it. And so sometimes it's kind of like you might be having some envy, even though you might not explicitly experience it that way. You might just look or be bothered by other people and not really be able to tell why, or understand why. And it's like, well, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel so negative towards these people? They're just being happy, or they're just chilling out, or they are, they're not doing anything wrong, so why is this irritating me? That might be envy coming through. That might be an old childhood wound coming through that needs some attention. So it's like you've done all this great work and you are in a really powerful position right now. I get the sense that it's like you're starting this new chapter in your life, this new season of summer. It's like you're coming out on the scene and you're just feeling really positive, but there's still just some little loose ends here and there. And I feel like you already know how to work with this. And when you encounter it, you don't bash yourself for the fact that it's coming up, because it's natural. Like when we heal our wounds and things like that, the experience that we had doesn't just get erased. Like the fact that we had a traumatic event in our life or a wounding in our life, that doesn't just go away. Like I broke my arm when I was in 4th grade, and even though it's healed up, it's like it's not the same arm as it was before I broke it, right? So you're not ever going to go back to the version of yourself that was never hurt. You are just going to grow bigger than that wound. Your whole perspective and the way that you view this landscape is going to change to where previously all you saw was the heartache, but as you heal, it's like your viewfinder opens up and there's other things to pay attention to. You can also feel joy and nostalgia and all these other things and passion and stuff like that. And these feelings can coexist with the wounded feelings. And you don't ignore the wounded feelings or suppress them. You just kind of learn to coexist with them, kind of. And just through being able to do that and have understanding towards that experience and compassion towards that part of yourself that went through that suffering, it helps lessen the suffering, and it increases your tolerance for those feelings to come up. Let's see. Do we have any closing messages for pile number 1? Okay, the World. And the Hierophant. Okay, so I feel like this is almost like a graduation ceremony. What came to mind was, first of all, the World card is like you have kind of completed this chapter. You have leveled up, right? And you've moved out of beginner phase into a phase of more mastery and stuff like that. The Hierophant can also, what came to mind was that it could represent a therapist. Maybe you've gotten to a point in therapy where you have achieved a point of stability where you don't need therapy anymore. You're not in a crisis anymore. And even if you feel like you're in a crisis, you have the tools now and the capabilities and abilities to actually soothe yourself and cope with the challenges that come up as they come up. You no longer need a therapist to keep you from losing your mind over it. You're actually quite stable now. And you know, and because of this work, like, people actually look up to you, and you're able to take on a kind of leadership role within the people, around the people in your life. But, you know, I still want to feel like cautioning about, like, don't act like you're the Pope, basically, and that you know all, you know, don't let it get to your head, basically, and don't martyr yourself. Don't make it your job to rescue people. But you might find people coming to you and really having a lot of respect for you, and noticing the growth that you have achieved in the recent years and wanting to learn from you. And you have things that you can teach, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be like a teacher, or you know, that like you need to become like a life coach or something like that as a career, unless that's something that you want to do. But people teach all the time just by kind of existing and having conversations and interacting with people and being vulnerable with people and sharing your life experiences with people. Just doing that is really helps people grow and learn from your experiences. You don't necessarily have to outright tell them like, this is what you do. You know, you just talk about your experiences. So pile number 1, let's kind of wrap this up. I have Whispers of Healing that wants to come out, and then we'll look at your blessing card. Okay. Oh, that didn't feel right. We have choice. Get the booklet for that. The first thing I'm drawn to is this woman is holding a flower of bubbles, and it's like she's blowing out a wish. And it's kind of like, but you're also like blowing away old memories and things that aren't serving you anymore. But you're also like making blowing your wish out to the universe and just kind of enjoying. Like, it's kind of freeing and childlike. Okay, so choice. Somewhere along the way, you have given up your right to decide. This can happen for many reasons. You may have quit making choices under the pretext of being agreeable or putting someone else's needs before your own. It may be that decision-making is too overwhelming right now. You have so many options. Each choice you make can take you closer or further from your desires, so it is imperative that you start exercising your power of choice. If you feel confused about a decision, evaluate what is going on. Come up with a list of possible outcomes. Make your list as long and elaborate as you need. Ask yourself what is blocking your ability to decide. Are you trying to please someone else? Are you afraid of making a wrong choice? Choosing not to decide is a choice. Decide to make healthy choices that meet your needs and desires. A fairy blows iridescent bubbles filled with possibilities. Bubbles represent hope, wishes, dreams, an array of choices you have in front of you. Bubbles may also indicate a need to raise awareness, as there are extraordinary moments of magic appearing to you. The bubbles also represent happiness, amusement, and the innocence of childhood. The castle in one bubble represents your home or feelings of safety and security. The Pegasus is a symbol for rising above difficulties. The Pegasus is a guardian. Its appearance here is an acknowledgement that you are supported in your resolve. Once you begin to make choices for yourself, it will become easier and easier to choose what you love. Now, I really feel like that's hearkening back to this Lover's card, and especially talking about the mirroring between the Lovers and the Devil. The Devil is a card that really represents disempowerment. It's when we have made a choice to yoke ourselves to the devil and do something even though it doesn't feel good to do it. Whereas the Lover's card is when we're making a choice based in love. And the devil didn't come out in this spread. And I really feel like that message about having forgotten, how to make choices and whatnot is kind of like speaking more to your past and where you've come from rather than what you're like right now. However, another thing that came up was when we get into spirituality and like surrendering out to spirit and stuff like that, sometimes we forget to make choices. Like we outsource all of our agency to spirit and leave it up to spirit to make decisions for us. And that's really not what the purpose of guides are, or the purpose of spirit is, if you don't make a choice, then spirit doesn't know what to do for you, right? You have to choose what you want. Spirit can't choose what you want for you. So that's just a little thing to keep in mind. I struggle with this too. Like, it's so easy to be like, oh, what should I eat today? And try and draw tarot cards for it. And it's like, oh, why don't you just pay attention to what you feel in your body that you like want to do, So kind of just reminders to do that, and just stay in control of your agency, because the Magician card, all these, this card's over here is all about agency and exercising that agency, and you have the power to do that. Like, you don't need to stay entrenched in disempowered dynamics or go back to those ways of living. You've grown much stronger than that now, and so I think you're aware of this pitfall, and maybe you've noticed your tendency towards this, and this is just like confirmation that, like, yeah, it's something that happens, and just be mindful of it. And so let's close out with your blessing. You chose this card, which honestly is really similar to another card from a different deck that I have, the Sacred Earth Oracle, but it's this person just kind of leaning against a tree, and it feels really peaceful. Like, they're just at peace. They're very serene right now. They're feeling held by the earth. So, a blessing from your soul. You are a beautiful soul full of infinite wisdom. Stop judging and start loving yourself. You are blessed with endless potential and on the verge of transforming into the radiant being that is your true essence. Shine your light and allow this blessing into your heart. All right, pile number 1, that is all that I'm seeing for you for your summer season. I think you're off to a great start in that you are really just getting into a way of coasting through your life, really. Maybe not coasting like as if you're never going to suffer ever again, but I mean, you're a totally different, formidable, transformed person now. You have access and mastery over tools that used to be really difficult for you, and because you've mastered those things, like, things don't shake you the way they used to, and that's a really wonderful thing. So make sure you're congratulating yourself and really loving yourself, and recognizing that you are a very strong and courageous person for having done all of this work in your life. Thank you for coming to this reading. I hope that you enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. I would really appreciate if you liked and subscribed to my channel, and if you left a comment talking about what you got out of the reading. I really enjoy connecting with people over how they connected to this reading. And if you're in the Washington or Seattle area, you can find me at different fairs. I mostly am booked up for the Metaphysical Market in Arlington, and those are like the second and third Saturdays of the month. But also for the month of June, the day that this reading is coming out on YouTube, I am currently at the Metaphysical Market in Arlington at the Stille Valley Center from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And in August, I will be at the Stille again on August 5th. And then August 19th and 20th, I will be in Ocean Shores at a MeWe fair. And then from then on out, it's mostly MeWe fairs and I think witches markets. But I also list all that in my video description. So thank you so much for coming. I really hope you enjoy your summer season. That's all I have for you. Bye-bye. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose this really pretty card here. There's 2 trees. I feel like they're like good little friends. That they're just really enjoying each other's company and they look out for each other. Maybe that describes you and a special person in your life. Maybe that's a desire that you have for some type of companionship. But overall, I get like a really positive feeling from this card, but we're not going to flip it over until the end of your reading. It is a blessing card, and yeah, we're going to jump right into the tarot cards, learning what's going on with your summer season. So going from Solstice to Equinox, what's going on for pile number 2? Guided messages for pile number 2, please. Okay. We have, that is 3 cards. Wow. The Fool, the Ten of Cups, and the Empress. Can you get off to any better start here? Queen of Pentacles. Yes. I feel like this is like hot girl summer, but it's not hot girl summer. It's like slow living cottage girl summer. Like getting your luxury on. Okay. Page of Cups. Hierophant. Okay. This, I feel, is a divine message. Okay. Like you're going to be delivered almost a mission. That's kind of what's coming across to me, is that like there is a mission out here for you. But, and maybe you're kind of on a detour? Who knows? I feel like the Fool card here is really positive. It's like you're stepping into a new phase of your life. You have the Ten of Cups. This is really like, to me, the Ten of Cups is really about family, community, having a loving home. It's like all of the highest vibrations of the moon when we talk about astrology. It's like home, family, connectedness, feeling emotionally fulfilled because you're able to be in relationship with people who really care about and meet your emotional needs, and you support each other and hold each other in that way. You might even have children, and you are having like a really great time. This Empress and the Queen of Pentacles, this is very sensual feeling. This is very grounded and earthy, and like you don't have to worry about scarcity or anything like that. Like you know that you're taken care of. You're very, very comfortable where you are right now. Even if you're this is all very new to you, I am kind of drawn to the fact that the Fool is heading off in a direction away from all of this. Yeah, it's kind of like maybe your back is turned to just how kind of good you have it, or you struggle to really see it, or you feel tempted to kind of like sabotage it all by like stepping off a cliff, you know, when you're, I don't know, maybe this only happens to me, but when I'm driving, I get like these intrusive thoughts, like what if I just drove off the side of the road or drove off this cliff or whatever. Like I feel like you might experience that a little bit, but with like sabotaging your life. Like what if I just up and destroy my relationship? What if I just get a divorce and leave this person that I really, really love and just ruin it all? And you know, like, yeah, I guess you could do that, but I think that there's really not a reason for you to, and that this is maybe just a part of your brain that is not used to having things be so comfortable and so pleasant. It can be really, it can feel very foreign, and a lot of times, like, if you've lived a life where you struggled to get your needs met or you struggled to connect with people in a way that was really fulfilling, once you actually achieve that in your life, it can be really actually unsettling, because you're just not used to it. You're more comfortable in the drama and everything being in crisis. And so when things are really stable, like these 3 cards are like the height of stability for me in this deck. You have it really, really good right now. And I don't mean that in a shaming way, but for some reason it's like a little hard to see that, or it's like you're having trouble looking that way. You're kind of just like, you're busybodying. You're like looking for the next thing that you have to do, or the next project that you should be working on, or, you know, work, you know? And you're not spending enough time actually sitting and enjoying what your life has to offer you right now. So I think for this summer season, like, it's time, like maybe the Fool card is like a suggestion, like maybe you have some extra money, you can go on a vacation, and it doesn't even have to be an expensive vacation. Maybe you just go camping for a night, you know, maybe you just go spend a night at a motel in a cool city that you haven't been to before, like a trip that's under $200. You know, you can even pack your own lunch, although I don't really think that you need to, you know. I think that you have the money. I think you can do this. Enjoy yourself, you know, like, enjoy yourself. That's kind of just what I keep getting from this, is like, there's no reason to worry about this or to fret about whether or not it's going to leave you or whatever. And then we come to this Page of Cups and the Hierophant. And I feel like this is like towards the end of summer. You might get an idea. Like, what I'm connecting to is the way that the page is presenting this cup with the fish in it. And fish are very symbolic of the unconscious and knowledge that comes from the unconscious. So to me, this is like divine inspiration, or like divine, like intuition, just that just strikes. Oops, I was trying to tap my head because I gesticulate a lot, but there is a calling, you know, and it's like you're having a really good time and you need to enjoy it now, because towards the end of the summer, like, your number is going to get called and you are going to have to do some work, but you don't have to do it right now. Like, enjoy yourself, because this is an important part of the process of becoming the person that you need to be to do this work that you're going to be called to do. And maybe it's therapeutic work, you know, whenever a lot of times the Hierophant comes out in readings and it represents a therapist or a counselor or something like that. Maybe you are in school to become a therapist. Maybe that's something that you do professionally. Maybe you are a mentor to other people or a teacher of some kind. Maybe that's something that you want to do as a vocation. But I feel like towards the end of summer, it's going to be time to really do that, and to put it into action. And you have to enjoy this phase while you still can, so that you can, 1, fill your cup enough to be able to give to others, but 2, so that you can really heal, and like really close the chapter on the old limiting beliefs about scarcity and not having enough and needing to fight and struggle to get your needs met and to like work yourself to the bone, because you don't need to do that anymore. And even when you get called to do this work, it's not going to be work in that sense. It's not going to be difficult. It's just going to be purposeful. I feel like you're being called to a purpose. Like you have a higher purpose out here. So let's kind of get some details on that. Yeah, the Eight of Swords. So and we have the Judgment. So again, we were talking about being called. Your number is going to be called. The Judgment is that card. That is your number being called. And the Eight of Swords, I think, is like there's a lot of resistance towards this. There's like, oh no, I'm not sure that, you know how the story of Moses, and he was approached by the burning bush, and and I don't know why this specific example is coming up, but anyways, he was approached by the burning bush, and he's like, your God came down to earth and spoke to Moses through a frickin' burning bush and was like, you are going to go free the slaves in Egypt. Like, you are going to go free your people and redeem yourself and all this other stuff. And Moses was like, oh no, I'm just a man, how can I do any of that? And God is like, boy, I'm here telling you, I am God, and I'm telling you that this is what you're gonna do, and you're gonna do it, and I'm going to be there to help you, and it's gonna work. I feel like the Eight of Swords is that feeling of like, I don't think I can do this, like that lack of belief in yourself. And yeah, I feel like this trumpet is like being blown in your face, like, you can do this, it's coming across like that. So someone's shouting at you that like, you are capable, you can do this, there's nothing to be afraid of. You have everything that you need, and you're just kind of, the fact that you don't feel that way, that has more to do with you're like bundled up and tied up by these limiting beliefs. And maybe that's kind of why the therapeutic bent came out earlier. Like, maybe you need some help from a therapist to work through these things. Or maybe you would feel more comfortable if you had a mentor to guide you through whatever this purpose is that you're being drawn towards. And maybe it's a spiritual purpose. Maybe you're supposed to be a tarot reader or a psychic, like I am. Although I don't call myself a psychic, but you know what I mean. Like, maybe you're supposed to be doing work that's similar to what I'm doing. Maybe you're supposed to like go out and be a social worker and start a new program for little children who are in need. Like, that was something I used to always want to do, is start like a foster care program for helping foster youth actually develop life skills, because a lot of times they age out of the system without learning how to do anything for themselves. But that's a tangent for another day. But what I'm saying is that like your purpose, this higher purpose of yours doesn't necessarily have to be like you're supposed to be a psychic, tarot reader, or whatever. Sometimes you're just supposed to go start a program or start your own business, and that there's a huge purpose in that can have an impact on people that you're not even able to think about or conceptualize, because your perspective is really limited by these ideas that you have about yourself and what you should and shouldn't be able to do. And so again, I think that kind of reinforces why I was really drawn to the fact that the Fool is turned away from all this. He's kind of going in this other direction, and I really feel like, and usually when I get the Fool out in a reading, I don't necessarily pick up on these details. For me, the Fool is usually a very positive card, and it's still positive in this reading. It's telling us that you have this opportunity to start a new chapter and to really go off the beaten path and do something that you're not used to doing that can be really fulfilling. But I think when it comes to the context of the story that we're seeing here, that this dog is really giving this warning to the Fool, like, hey, turn around. You have all of this over here. Like, you don't need to step off the cliff, Make sure you don't step off the cliff. So can we get some advice for pile number 2, please? Nine of Pentacles. Again, this is just like slow girl summer, right? You are so taken care of. Queen of Wands. Have more confidence in yourself. Like, you are that bad bitch, you know? Like, you have everything that you need. I feel like your guides are really just not understanding why you don't have more confidence in yourself, you know? Like, they wish that you could see you the way that other people see you. And maybe that's the other thing, is that, like, you're kind of so wrapped up in this that it's preventing you from being able to have an objective view of yourself and where you stand in life. Like, and I don't mean this in a shaming way, but you have it really good. You do. And there's a lot of people that would give everything to be in your position right now. And so you don't need to beat yourself up anymore. You don't have to feel like there is more that you need to be doing and achieving and whatever. That will come in its own time, you know? You've achieved a status in your life that is really incredible and even fascinating, that you were able to do this given the things that you had to deal with to get here. So that, again, the advice is to just take it easy, soak it in, enjoy where you're at, learn to love where you're at, and to love and to really appreciate the person that you are to have gotten yourself to this point in your life. Give yourself more credit and enjoy your summer. Like, that's a big thing, is like, just have fun. And again, I feel like you have somebody in your life that is really, really supportive towards you, that that you're able to really connect with and lean on. Sorry, I think I hear music, but I don't think the mic is picking it up because I don't hear it in my headphones. Anyways, if you hear things in the background, I'm sorry, it's just my neighbors partying. Anyways, so pile number 2, let's pull from the Whispers of Healing. We have Transform. So the message with this card is there's all these butterflies, and oh, this is crazy because I keep running into caterpillars lately, and my massage therapist actually said this really cool thing, because we were talking about something completely different from this but kind of related. I was talking about how I struggled to feel a desire to have children until I did a lot of healing work, and that I had like a significant amount of fear. I still, like, I think everyone has a little bit of this fear, even if they really, really, really desire children. But there's that fear of the surrender of the way things currently are and transforming your identity into becoming a mother, and that fear of like letting go and not being ready for, like, I know that right now I'm not ready for that yet, for the level of sacrifice that it asks of me. But she said, like, you know, well, yeah, that's normal, you know, because imagine if a freaking caterpillar knew what it was doing. You know, caterpillars, they're just following instinct, and then they eat and eat and eat, and then they build a cocoon, and then they turn in, like, within that cocoon they turn into a pile of goop, like they completely dissolve and then become rearranged into a butterfly, and then they emerge as a butterfly, and they're a freaking butterfly. So if a caterpillar knew, like, had an awareness for the fact that going through that cocoon process was going to turn into a pile of goop, it would freak the hell out. It would resist the process every step of the way, because it would be so scary. So transforming is kind of scary, and I feel like this girl here, she's kind of like peeking around, like there's all these butterflies that have gone through their transformation and they are ready to be released and kind of embrace their life. and we can read out of the book for this. Can you feel the importance of what is happening for you? You're in a phase where just about anything is possible. To achieve transformation, you must really think it is possible. Believing in yourself and your abilities is the key to creating the change being shown to you. You may have wanted a certain outcome, but not really believed it was possible. To achieve the desired changes in your health, be willing to make changes to your behaviors. You do some things out of habit. Some because of the way you were taught and others because they are easy. Try a new approach to create your change. If needed, get a buddy to do this with you. This could be anything from eating healthier to taking 10-minute walks or learning a new hobby. Reinforce the changes you are making in your life by enlisting the support of your family members or someone you know who will cheer you on. Repeat the much prized changes to form new positive habits. As you start having success, you will develop an unshakable conviction that you will get to where you want to be. A multitude of butterflies and fairies watch as a young woman prepares to release the butterflies in her dome. Butterflies must set aside everything they once knew to accept a new way of existing. They symbolize a readiness to let go and encounter transformation. The lightning striking the dome helps to clear away any doubts or resistance to change. The fairies are a reminder of the magic and support that is all around you. There is always hope for a brighter tomorrow. Ooh, I kind of got goosebumps around that. Okay, pile number 2. I think like you have transformed and there's still more transformation that you can go through, you know? It's like, yeah, there's still a lot that wants to come into your life, and you feel some resistance here, but it's okay, because this, again, I feel like this is more towards the end of summer, and that right now you're just being asked to really enjoy yourself, and through doing that, it's going to be easier to let go of the resistance that you feel. Like that's kind of, I brought up my kind of relationship with how I'm thinking about approaching motherhood and stuff like that, because I've learned a lot through my own healing journey that having children really needs to be a sacrifice, like a willing sacrifice. And a lot of people, I hate to say it, don't do that. They don't make a willing sacrifice for their children. They hold a lot of resentment for their children. They feel like they're losing something by having children. And a lot of times they didn't put a lot of thought into bringing a child into the world. And in order to get to a place where it doesn't feel like something is being taken away from you when you transform and completely let go of an old way of living and embracing a new way of living, in order to get to a point where you don't harbor resentment, you have to really... Sorry, I'm having hiccups. This happens a lot when I'm channeling. I think it's just releasing. In order to get to a point where you don't have resentment, you have to really look deep into yourself and really ask yourself, like, what are you afraid of losing? And then use the time you have now, use the position that you're in right now to live out those desires to the fullest. And then also recognize that some of those desires might not be able to come to pass, but it also doesn't necessarily mean that by going through this transformation that there's no way that they can happen in the future. And they might happen in a way that's not what you expected and is even better for that reason. So now let's look at your blessing card. The blessing of positive thought. Each time you notice a negative thought cross your mind, stop and consciously replace it with a positive one. Practice this until the pattern is broken. You will set yourself free. This is a blessing you give to yourself. It will lead you to a feeling of deep peace and contentment. What a nice little way to wrap up that reading. Pile number 2, this is all that I'm seeing for you. thank you so much for coming to my channel. I would really appreciate if you like and subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment if you got anything out of this reading. I really enjoy hearing people's feedback and hearing how they connected to the reading. If you are in the Seattle area, I am often showing up at psychic fairs, and you can come see me at those fairs. I list them in my video description. The day that this video is coming out, I'm actually at the Stille Valley Center in Arlington at the Metaphysical Market from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And in August 5th, I will be at the Stille Valley Center again for the Metaphysical Market, and then August 6th, I believe, I will be at the Witches Market in Issaquah, and that's the PNW Witches Market. And then August 19th and 20th, I will be in Ocean Shores for the MeWe Fair. So those are my upcoming fairs for the next couple months, and there's plenty more that I have booked through October. If you're in the area, I'd love to see you. And that is all I have for you. Thank you, number 2. Enjoy your summer season. Bye-bye. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose this nice little field of flowers with little raining hearts and everything. I really like this card. It kind of reminds me of the Wizard of Oz, so maybe there's like the field of poppies and falling asleep and whatever, but I think more so this is like, it's just a sunny field, and it's just like there's all this openness and expansiveness and love that's just pouring down for this reading. So let's go into the tarot cards. We're just looking at what's going on, what's going to be really coming up for you this summer season. So let's look into pile number 3's summer. Queen of Swords. High Priestess. Temperance. The Fool and the Magician. Lots of major arcanas. Damn. That's too many cards. We're just looking for one more card, please. Okay. And the Four of Wands. Pile number 3, the first thing that came to my mind is the Queen of Swords is like a seriously severe and seriously severe and serious woman. But she's so, when I see the Queen of Swords, I see someone who's guarded, who's really disconnected from their feeling center, and who is very, well, what came through with this one, because it's like with the High Priestess, these two couldn't be like further apart from each other in terms of vibes that I get off of them. Like the Queen of Swords is, she wants the facts. She wants to be certain about things. She's entirely logical and methodical and a critical thinker. Whereas the High Priestess is completely intuitive. There is no question about certainty or anything like that. There is only faith. There is only direct experience and intuitive truth. Which can be something that, if you're a Queen of Swords type of person, that can be really challenging. It's really challenging when you... So, first of all, I want to say, like, okay, so I don't want to just, like, rag down on the Queen of Swords. There are some real positives associated with this. Like, you have a very strong intellect. You really know how to cut through information, how to discern through information, how to evaluate information and facts and logic, and to make rational arguments for things. And that's great. You know, like, there are lots of things that that's good for. It's not necessarily good for handling your emotions, or intuitive feelings, or wanting to approach spirituality or have a connection to spirit. Like, the mind isn't for that. The mind is a tool. We always see the queen or the king in the suit. They're holding a sword. They are wielding it. They know how to use it. They don't let it use them. But I think that the vibe that I'm getting off of this is that, like, she comes across as very cold and unfeeling. Very, like, I need to just get down to the root of this, cut the bull crap, just give me the straight information on this. And the High Priestess just doesn't work that way. You know, there's something here that you don't get to be certain about it. You never will. And if you try to approach it with that type of mindset, you're going to disappoint yourself and just frustrate yourself. And not only that, but you're going to be missing out on a total other way of existing in this world and in your mind and being, by trying to conform everything to a mental type of logical exercise, and ignoring this other instinct. Because I feel like intuition, and like the immaterial just knowingness that we can experience, that's a spiritual instinct. And when you don't allow space for that into your life, you're actually, it's like you're I can't pronounce this word. You experience atrophy, you know, in your life and your being when you do this. And the Temperance card here, I think, is like a message about trying to balance these two out and make space for both of these things in your life to occupy their appropriate stations that they are good for, rather than letting one consume the other or override the other, or have to answer or conform to the other's rules and expectations. Like, of course, the mind doesn't need to, things that require rationality and stuff like that don't need to conform to the expectations and needs of intuition. And intuition doesn't need to answer to logic either, right? But they do need to, there needs to be like some mutual respect between each other, because in their own realms where they reign supreme, you know, they are that, right? And then we come to the Fool and the Magician card. Now, it's really interesting that we have 0, 1, and 2 here. The Magician and the High Priestess, and they're kind of like in these mirrored positions. They kind of are mirrors of each other. Like, the High Priestess is this intuitive knowing, whereas the Magician is like this masculine manifesting, channeling divine energy into a material manifestation, whereas the High Priestess is the mystery. You know, it's the receptive principle. So with Temperance, trying to kind of balance these two out, and there are different things that you can do for this. You know, if you're too much in your head, what you need to do is get into your feels and get into your body. And so stop trying to solve your emotions with your mind. That if you could think your way out of feeling sad or feeling some type of way about something, it would work, right? But it doesn't work, you know? Like, this is where I kind of get on my rant about CBT therapy sometimes, is that, like, because CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy, this is often like using the rational faculty to combat emotional experiences. And it's great for learning how to function on the fly. Like if you're at work and you're having an emotional breakdown or whatever, being able to rationalize that your thoughts are kind of distorted and whatever, and all that can really help you package up that feeling and set it aside so that you can get your work done. But that's not like a long-term solution. That's just like a type of suppression, right? And we still at some point need to feel our feelings. So stop using your mind to try and solve every feeling. Make space in your life to sit and really connect with that feeling space within you. You could do this through journaling. You can, like, I like to make playlists for different emotions. So I have like a sad crying catharsis playlist, and it's full of music that when I listen to it when I'm feeling depressed or something like that, like I'm able to achieve a type of catharsis by really immersing myself in that emotion. And sometimes the emotions come up and you don't even know why. Like the Queen of Swords feels like there always has to be a reason for some feeling or whatever. And sometimes there is no reason. You know, sometimes it's just feeling. Sometimes it's, it's like a body process, like, obviously I kind of ascribe to Chinese medicine. So the organ theory talks about how our organs govern different emotions, and sometimes maybe like you just ate something that was off and it threw off your system and it activated little parts of your body that stores memories, past experiences, and just that experience is being relived in your body, even if it's not being relived in your life in any way. And so it can be called into your mental awareness, and you might feel emotions that you're like, why am I feeling this way? Everything is fine. There doesn't have to be a reason, there doesn't have to be that doesn't have to be rational, because feelings aren't rational. They're irrational, right? At least emotions are. I want to make that distinction because if we're talking about like Jungian psychology and whatever, we talk about the feeling function, which is a type of rational function. It's a type of judgment that we are able to make about things. But feeling is separate. It's related to, but it's not the same thing as emotions. So I'm not talking about the feeling function here. I'm talking explicitly about emotions. Emotions aren't rational. Like they don't have to be logical. They are just a reaction to an event or an environment or something like that. And it just kind of is a signal to you that like, oh, something happened. If you feel angry, that's like a little signal like, oh, maybe my boundary was violated, or maybe I feel like I'm not being treated fairly, or that I'm being disrespected. Or if you feel sad, it's like, oh, maybe I feel like I lost something. And maybe that something is like imaginary. Maybe it's something that happened 20 years ago, but it's just still there, So stop trying to make your feelings make sense. Instead, make your feelings feel heard and validated and listened to and felt. Like you have to feel your feelings. You can't avoid feeling them. I mean, you can, but it's not advised, in my opinion. I've been there, done that, and it didn't do anything positive for me, really. It made me functional for some things, but it was like, when you live that way, you really don't understand how you are like only living half a life, until you go through the experience of reconnecting with your emotions and allowing them back into your awareness and working with them and learning how to relate to them in a positive way. And then suddenly you're like, oh my God, I was just a husk of a person in the past, and maybe I was like capable of like machine-like type of operations. Like I was able to be so fucking productive, but that wasn't like me. That wasn't a person. That was a robot, and you don't want to be a robot. So getting more into this receptive quality of yourself and tapping into that, stepping away from the measured and controlled and, you know, I'm always in control of myself, you know, person, and more into the I'm willing to receive different messages. I'm willing to receive different types of knowledge. Like mental, rational, logical knowledge isn't the only type of knowledge that exists. There's emotional, intuitive, spiritual knowledge, and this is really the domain of the High Priestess. Once you're able to tap into that and really, this will help heal and bring balance. This is going to help you feel more connected to yourself and grounded. I feel that you will like burst into this kind of new chapter. You're going to be able to transform. We have the Fool card here, and this is like, it restores a sense of faith in the universe to be able to do this healing work. Because, so the Fool card is about like, I don't want to say blind faith, but it is kind of just blind faith in a way. Total faith in the universe that you will be taken care of, and it's freeing and liberating. If you don't have that, if you feel like the world is a scary place, that you can't trust that things will go in a positive way for you unless you're controlling every aspect of it, I hate to break it to you, but you probably have some type of trauma history, and maybe you weren't abused or neglected, or like your parents were really loving and doting upon you, but maybe just for some reason you just didn't get your emotional needs met in the environment that you were raised in. Because if you grow up in an environment where there was somebody there who was able to consistently tend to your needs, who was able to consistently validate your emotions and hug you and soothe you and really comfort you through those experiences, then you would have come into this phase, first of all, not being so over-reliant on logic and like suppressive towards emotions, but you also would feel that the world is a safe place, that you can trust that things are going to go well, that the universe has positive intentions for you, that you know that you will be taken care of by the universe. That's just the way it goes, you know. That's what security means. Feeling an inner sense of security is that you realize that you don't have to control every little thing. So I'm telling you that when you do this work, you're going to have this restored sense of faith and trust in the universe. And once you have that, you're going to be able to manifest. That's when you can move into this magician phase. And I see the Four of Wands. To me, what came out of mine was like home ownership. Like maybe you're trying to manifest a home for yourself. Maybe you are you're getting married or something like that, or you're trying to call in that type of lifestyle, or you're ready to start a family or something like that, and there's just some things that you want to manifest to help move that along. You're going to have to do this healing work to get there. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Let's see if there's any other messages for pile number 3. Okay, I will take them. Oh, okay, that was a lot of cards, but I'll take it. I don't usually take this many cards. So the Four of Pentacles, this is a card about holding on to things, and it's like you might really be resisting doing this healing work because your mental faculties, your rationality and stuff like that has really served you well, and it makes you feel safe and secure because you're so comfortable there. But it's really like you see this guy, sorry, more burping. You see this guy he like dresses like he thinks he's a king, but he's really not a king. Like, you think that this is really nice, but really it's like a crap fur coat from the thrift store that's been peed on, you know, but you're like, oh, this fur coat, it's so nice, you know, it's so comforting and warm. And it's like, you don't even realize that there are better fur coats out there, that there are, you know, this area behind him, it's just like this little village or whatever. He thinks that he's so worried about losing the coat that he's not even willing to, he can't even let go of it so that he can receive a better coat. So I'm sensing some resistance here, but really, like, the other messages that are coming out is that, like, you have what it takes to work hard on this, and you have done a lot of work, but there's still just some more work that you can do, and it's going to get easier with time. Like, the more you do, the more you practice, the easier it gets. And at first it'll start out really hard. Like, this guy, he's practicing making pentacles, and he's got this pentacle up here. It's like, okay, this is where I want to be, but these other ones that I'm practicing on, like, some of them are bent the wrong way, or I chiseled them slightly wrong or whatever. He's practicing, and you shouldn't beat yourself up for being a beginner at this, because you didn't know any better, right? And that's not your fault. But it is your responsibility to do the healing. And that the Empress card is here to just kind of say, like, you know, be gentle on yourself, nurture yourself. You have an Empress, you know, like, you can be an Empress. You don't have to be the Queen of Swords. You don't have to be this Four of Pentacles type of guy. Doing this work is going to be worth it because, oh my gosh, you're going to be an Empress, right? And wouldn't you rather be an Empress? I mean, I would rather be an Empress. You worry too much. I'm sorry to say it like directly like that, but you concern yourself with too much stuff that doesn't belong to you. Like, stop taking on other people's problems. And stop hanging on to things that really were never your fault. That's definitely too many cards. Oh, there's one that flipped over. Six of Wands. Just checking real quick. Yep, that's it. Okay. Yeah, the Six of Wands is about, you need to give yourself more recognition. Like, you're beating yourself up for not being able to carry all these wands, right? But the wands don't even belong to you. Like, they're not your problem. The Six of Wands, I feel like this is your guides trying to say, like, we celebrate you. Like, we think you're so awesome, and you really deserve better than what you're settling for. Yeah. Final messages for pile number 3. Funny, I asked for 2 more cards. We have the Ace of Cups and the Two of Swords. Again, the Two of Swords is about being disconnected from your feelings. You're over relying on logic. It's this woman who's holding 2 swords. She's not able to move forward with a decision because she's in analysis paralysis, and she's got this blindfold on, you know? She can't see the clear choice because she's attached to these swords. We have the ocean behind her. This is really about connecting to your feeling center. And again, the Ace of Cups is all about like allowing yourself to experience this overflowing of emotion. And kind of like, I feel like there's a reassurance that like you are surrounded by loved ones that really care about you, that really want to see you succeed, and that you have what it takes to do this work. Now, I did want to mention, I feel like it would benefit you to read an article that I have on my website about ambivalence, because really like the Two of Swords is kind of like a template that I used for that article, and it's really about how do you, when you're trying to make a decision and you can't because you're like, what if it's the wrong decision, or this seems like a good idea but it also seems like a bad idea, and you're literally stuck, like you can't move forward. Usually those problems are about being disconnected from your emotions. So if you use the tools that I outlined in that article, you'll be able to kind of check in with yourself and see what you're feeling about a situation. And once you start to identify those feelings, then you can start moving forward and doing a bit more problem solving. Like, you know, the example that I used in that article is how I came to the decision to go no contact with my mother. It really came down to my therapist just asking me some simple questions that really made me realize that, like, I don't actually even enjoy, like, I don't feel joy when I'm around my mother. I don't feel good around my mother. That's enough information to make a decision, right? Because it's like, oh, I just don't even like being around her. That's reason enough to not be around her. And so that made my decision clear. Whereas before I was really like, oh, I don't know, because it's my mom and I should try and fix things with my mom. I should try and make it better, or I should work it out or whatever. But it's like, you know what? You don't even like being around her, you know? But sometimes also it's another thing where it's like, you know, I did a thing where I hired somebody to do some work for me, and I was really unsure if I should go about with it, and I was really worried about making a decision, and I couldn't go forward with it. I was like, what's stopping me from making this decision? Well, I'm afraid that I'm going to get scammed, or that I'm going to be taken advantage of, or be vulnerable to being taken advantage of. Well, it was really useful to identify that, because now that I identified that fear, that emotion, I was able to think, well, what do I need to do then to make myself feel more confident about going forward with this decision? And so then that turns into, okay, what are my choices? I can ask this person more questions about their contract process. You know, I can submit policies within that contract that I'm comfortable agreeing to, that help protect me and assure that I'm going to get the result that I want out of it. So those are things to consider, and why it's important to really learn to check in with yourself and your emotions with your decision-making process. Okay, pile number 3, my mistake. Let's look at your Whispers of Healing card. So, we have Replenish. So I'm looking at this card. There's this woman in silk sheets, and there's like this dreamscape and lots of things and activities. I feel like you have a lot going on that you preoccupy yourself with, that you're kind of worried about, and it's even maybe even coming up in your dreams. Like, you might be having dreams about these things. You really need to get some distance from this, and so that you can replenish yourself and restore yourself. You might need like some respite, you know, from whatever business is going on in your life. It is not possible to be happy or at your best all the time. Having depleted energy or off days is a natural part of everyday life. However, it is how you manage those times when you are energetically low that it is important. It is imperative to take care of your emotional energy just as you take care of your physical well-being. This means addressing a depression, fear, mood swings, anger, or feeling drained of energy. Have strategies for coping and replenishing yourself, such as an exercise program. Identify ways of regrouping and gain control of your energy. There are benefits to scheduling a day each month that is just for you. This day can be whatever you would like it to be. Sleep in, watch a favorite movie while enjoying a favorite treat, make a dinner date with a friend, or just catch up for a chat. Doing something that makes you feel good will help revitalize your energy. When you are in a healing process, depression can be a challenge. Make sure you take steps to address depression early on. Talk to people about how you are feeling, and if you need, get help organizing time for something you enjoy. A beautiful woman unwinds in satin sheets while a bustle of activity goes on around her. Take care of yourself. It is up to you to replenish your energy. The color lilac represents the future, your imagination, and your dreams. Lilac is grounding. It also inspires and enhances psychic ability and spiritual enlightenment. You are resilient. You will overcome anything that comes your way. A difficult period is diminishing and moving into your past. So that's interesting that came out, because again, we got that initial card and it was like, I feel like, you know, Dorothy laying down in a field and kind of taking a nap. Okay, pile number 3, let's look at your blessing. You are blessed regardless. Every experience enriches us and those around us in some way. Regardless of what we achieve or don't achieve, do or don't do, all is a blessing in one form or another. Nothing is a mistake, for all serves a divine purpose. All is blessed. Okay, between these two cards, I'm really reminded of, frankly, something that I struggle with sometimes, and that is this tendency to have like an all or nothing perspective on like your expectations for your day or how things are going. You know, it's like you wake up and you're like, I need today to be perfect, right? And then the day isn't perfect for one reason or another. And because that one little thing wasn't perfect, it destroys your whole day. It's like, screw this day. This is the worst day ever. Everything is sucky now, you know, because of like one little thing. I think that this is something that like you have a tendency to do this because you're too overwhelmed. I get a lot of like this 10 of Wands was really clear to me that it's like you do too much, you know, and you take on so much that you leave yourself with little room to make mistakes. And so when something doesn't go the way you expected or wanted it to, you lose your mind over it. And I used to be exactly the same way. And it used to be a huge problem, honestly, with the way that I was. Like, I was mean about it to people. It wasn't that nice. So, it's all about being high-strung. Like, you're too high-strung. And the Queen of Swords is kind of like that, right? She's all rigid and, you know, a bit of a tight ass. You need to take it easy. You need to let go of some things. Try and let, like, these burdens, your 10 of Wands, like, let some of that crap go. I really got the distinct impression that a lot of the things that you burden yourself with, you legitimately do not have to. Like, you tell yourself that you have to, and that's a rescuing behavior. That's a like, oh, I need to do this because so and so depends on me or whatever, when it's really actually not your responsibility, you know? It's different. Like, it can be challenging to identify like what's yours and what's somebody else's responsibility, especially if you're a very helpful person by nature and you enjoy helping others. You might have a tendency to take on other people's problems and think that you have to do something about it when you really don't. So try and get clear on that. You know, like, set some boundaries with people. And I know it's hard. I actually was thinking a lot about boundaries this morning, and I'm not going to go too into it, but I'll probably like write an article about it soon. But okay, I'll give you like the TLDR. Boundaries are important because when you don't have boundaries, the way you define yourself is ambiguous, right? Your boundaries define who you are. It's like drawing a line in the sand, like this is mine and this is yours. And when you don't have that, you lose your sense of identity and selfhood, and that creates a lot of resentment, frustration, and depression in people's lives when you don't have those clear boundaries, that clear definition of this is B and this is everybody else, right? So you really need boundaries. Please set some boundaries with whatever is going on in your life. Overall, I see that you're headed in a positive direction and that you're being offered this opportunity to do some healing work that can really benefit you in the long run and really help propel you on your manifestation goals. Otherwise, that is all I'm really seeing for you, pile number 3. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment if you enjoyed this reading. I really love hearing people's feedback. The day that I'm posting this video, I am going to be at the Stille Valley Center in Arlington, Washington. If you're in the Seattle area, I'd love to see you. I'm there from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. In August 5th, I will be at the Stille Valley Center again for the Metaphysical Market, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then the following day, August 6th, I will be at the Witches Market in Issaquah. And then August 19th and 20th, I will be at Ocean Shores for the MeWe Fair. The information for all those events are in my video description. So again, if you're in the Seattle area, if you want to drop by, I'd really love to see you. Thank you so much. And enjoy your summer. Please set aside some time for yourself. Set some boundaries and really, really show some love for yourself, because again, you got this Ace of Cups here and you got this Six of Wands. I really feel like you have a lot of love in your life that's there to experience if you let it in. So pile number 3. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. You chose this card that has a tree with a heart in the center, and there's like a sun rising behind it. I feel like this tree is really peaceful and self-assured. All the cards of this deck has really wonderful, beautiful imagery in it, but this tree I feel is like kind of well, the surrounding colors seem kind of murky in a way, so I feel like this tree maybe has some pain going on around it, but the sun is like coming out and rising, like things are going to get better. So pile number 4, let's jump into your reading. Oops. Okay. The first card is the Queen of Pentacles, and yeah, I feel like the tree is like, even though things don't look so great, so even though there's like this, I don't know, it's like a lingering cloud of sadness or stagnation, but at the core of the tree, everything feels good and healthy, and like there's like faith and serenity, and like, there's like this understanding that things are going to be better, that this is only temporary, or that the trend is like that all those problems are in the past, something like that. So pile number 4, what's going on with your summer? What do you need to hear? Way too many cards. Still too many cards. Please take them out one at a time. Let me shuffle them a bit. My shuffling method is kind of slow because I do it this way, but it's how I have faith that the cards are truly random. Okay. Because then I do a little bit of this afterwards. Okay. Pile number 4. What's going on with your summer? The Magician has come out in several other piles today, so that's interesting. Just kind of shows that there are these collective rhythms. Not even if a card comes out in multiple readings, it doesn't always mean the same thing in every reading. Okay, that's funny. That card tried to come out earlier, but it was like on top of a bazillion other cards. Okay. I will allow this extra card. Let me just rearrange things. Okay. Pile number 4. Your First I want to say that like there's something. These 3 cards I feel are like telling a single arc right now. You're very comfortable where you're at, right? And there's something that you've invested a lot into, but it's not giving the return that you were expecting, and that's why the 8 of Cups is coming up. It's kind of like you have to walk away from this for some reason. And that reason is that it's like, and it's hard to walk away. I think that's kind of where I was picking up on this, like kind of depressing energy surrounding the tree, is that it's like, you're very comfortable somewhere. It's been a big part of your life for a very long time. It might be like your hometown, the family you grew up with, the house that you grew up in. And you have watched it grow and take on, and you've tended to this thing. You've really put a lot of effort into it. You've given a lot to it over the years, but it's just not giving you, like, I feel like this guy is kind of sitting and looking and kind of being like, huh, meh, you know, just kind of like, I wish you could give me different fruit. Like, like maybe it's an apple tree, but what you really need are peaches, you know? And it's a really great apple tree, like it's popping apples, you know? But this isn't one of those when life gives you apples, make apple cider situations. This is a like, no, I actually really need peaches. And and so the 8 of Cups is like, I need to walk away from this. Like, I need to cut my losses. And I have a sense that, like, I feel like for some of you, like, you have a lot of appreciation for those quote-unquote losses, but for others, this is really disappointing. This is like, damn, I put all this energy into this and I got nothing out of it. I do want to say that you didn't get nothing out of it. Like, you got the experience to understand that apples don't work for you, that really you're a peaches person, right? And sometimes you just go through that in life, right? It can be kind of hard to feel the appreciation until maybe you get to another point in your life where, like, those past experiences actually come back and become useful. But for the time being, like, I feel like you are leaving something behind that kind of disappointed you, that you wished it could have been better, you know? That it was comfortable, but you didn't just want comfortable, you know? You wanted something bigger and better. Now, the interesting thing is that we move from the Eight of Cups into the Magician and the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords can be an unpleasant card to receive in a reading. I think I'm still getting a read on what I'm drawn to in this card, because there's different ways that the Seven of Swords can be interpreted. Like, sometimes it's like there is sabotage afoot, like someone might be trying to steal from you, but I don't want to say that if that's not what's coming through, right? Because there's no reason to make people feel worried if they have no reason to worry. Like, I'm not here to stir fears into people. I'm here to give confirmation and to give people tools to you know, cope with things. What I'm drawn to is like this smoke, like something's going up in smoke. And it's like, I mean, there's a campfire there in the card, but for me, I'm seeing like something smoldering or burning, and you're just like kind of, this guy is just sneaking past it. Like, did he set the fire? Or is he just kind of sneaking past it so that he doesn't get dragged into it, right? It's like, no, I've got my swords here. This is what I need. I don't want them to notice me, because then they're going to see that I have all these swords and be like, oh, we need that guy. He's got the swords. Let's drag him into this problem. And he's like, no, that's not my problem. I don't want to be part of your problem. That's kind of the read that I'm getting off of this. So it's kind of like trying to slide by and be a little slick. But where's the connection to the Magician here? You're walking away from something, and this experience actually gave you some tools that you're, you know, again, I said, like, you didn't get nothing from this. You got the experience that helped you understand and clarify what your true desires are. And because of that, you're able to, sorry, I burp a lot during readings, and it's an energy thing, it's a release thing, so it's also a fact that I just burp a lot, but mostly it's a release thing because it happens particularly when I'm doing readings. So you're able to clarify what it is you desire. Now, it might be tempting to try and take shortcuts to get what you want. Don't do that. Like, just don't take shortcuts. But also be careful about people from your past seeing you succeeding and seeing you rising on your new path and thinking that, oh, they can just hit you up, you know. Oh, you know, B is doing great right now. I should ask her for money. Or like, oh, she's got it all figured out. Let me ask her for advice. You know, maybe it's a job that you left and they're like, oh, you know, now that you've left, you know, they were fine with you leaving, but afterwards, like, everything gone to crap. But now they're like, God, if only we could get Bee back here. And so they try and rope you back in. And it's tempting to go backwards. But you can't go back. I'm sorry, but you just can't. Because you're not the same person anymore. You have this new awareness. You can't go back to being this person that was comfortable getting pebbles, you know, from out of life. You want them peaches, you know? So, yeah, I feel like the Seven of Swords here is trying to, is like kind of telling you to be aware that other people might see you and want a piece of you, and that you feel like you want to stay hidden, you know, and you're trying to avoid people. This is another form of spiritual bypassing, you know, because we're avoiding standing up and being authentic towards people when we do that. And sometimes, you know, that's, at the same time, I don't want to say like that if you're in a position where there are people that, like, maybe you've gotten no contact with some people, right? And it was for a good reason. I'm not saying that that's cowardly or that was spiritual bypassing. No, this is a different situation where it's like people in your life that are relatively innocuous, like they're harmless in your life, right? And instead of just like showing up and setting boundaries, you're like just avoiding interacting at all because you're afraid that you're going to be in a situation where you have to say no to somebody, and you're afraid of the experience of saying no and disappointing others. Don't do that, because you don't need to. You can embody this emperor energy, right? Emperor is like, I don't give a crap, I'm me, you know, like the thought that I might be disappointing other people by being myself doesn't even cross my mind. I'm the emperor. Like, I don't have to worry about those things because I'm just showing up in a way that is secure to me, and it's not at anybody else's expense. Being myself doesn't take away from other people, you know? As long as you're like not literally not taking away from other people, obviously, but you know, like say you're in a situation where an old coworker wants to hang out for lunch and you really like them as a person, but you don't want the conversation to revolve around the old workplace or them trying to ask if you'd like to return to work or something like that. The emperor way of handling this situation would be to go have lunch with that person. And when they start talking about the work stuff, the work drama that you don't want to be roped back into, you say like, hey, you know, I totally get you. I was there. I understand that was a really frustrating situation, but I'm really not interested in this. I want to connect as friends. Like, tell me more about what you're interested in. Let's leave the drama out of this. Like, I don't want to talk about that. You know? And reasonable people will be like, oh, sorry about it. I can't help it. But, you know, I get your point. Like, let's talk about something else. Let's switch to something more positive, you know? So, yeah, I think you're being encouraged to kind of have more confidence and carry and be a bit more secure in yourself and your position, not having to resort to weaselly methods to avoid confrontation, because like you're afraid that you won't be able to stand up for yourself or that you will say the wrong thing and upset people. I think you're kind of being assured here that you don't have to worry about that like you're a reasonable person. And I think that you're reasonable because you have the Queen of Pentacles here, you have the Emperor here, you have the Magician here, you know, like you're smart, you're capable, you're kind of easygoing in a way, like you're laid back, you're earthiness, you know, you're grounded. You're not going to lose your marbles on something, you know? And again, the Magician, you're very capable. You have the tools to navigate those tricky situations with people, and you are capable of doing that. You don't have to avoid uncomfortable situations with people. And in fact, when you're doing that, you're depriving yourself of opportunity to experience, to have a corrective experience, so that your brain actually rewires itself and learns that it doesn't need to be afraid of things like that anymore. So then we end on the Page of Wands, and I'm not really sure what's coming through on that one, so I am going to draw some more cards. Let's clarify the Page of Wands, please. Okay. It fell to the floor. Here we go. We have the Page of Pentacles. So this could be about, like, pages are kind of, in a way, they're novices. And maybe there is something in your life that you're really interested in trying out, but you're kind of insecure about being a beginner at it. And I think that's where the Page of Wands is like, I see something, it looks cool, I'd really like it if I could be cool like that. And then the Page of Pentacles is, again, like, opportunities, career paths. It can also be about, like, resources and stuff like that. You know, we started off with the Pentacles, and now we have the Page of Pentacles coming back. So what's the deal with that? What's the message here, Spirit? Funny, that's another card that tried to come out earlier. So I don't worry about putting them back in when there's too many. I had a sense of listen to your dreams, like you might be dreaming about something. The Four of Swords is like rest, like kind of pause for a bit. And then the Six of Cups is like this nostalgic, childlike type of exchange of loving energy, connecting with your inner child. But when I saw the two together, I just thought about dream messages. So I don't know if you're getting messages in your dream or you're dreaming about work or something like that, but it's kind of like pay attention to that. Eight of Swords. This reading feels crunchy to me. It just feels crunchy. Pile number 4. I think the reason it feels a little crunchy is because you're really limiting yourself and you feel bound up, you know, like this is preventing your inspiration and intuition from just flowing freely. You're too worried about something, you know, or you're too it might be about leaving this, like you're too worried about moving forward with it and you're delaying the inevitable ending that needs to occur for your development. But it's like you're telling yourself that you can't do this, even though you can. Like, you can. You just can. I don't know what reasoning you're using, but I think you need to take a pause from, and maybe this is like the Seven of Pentacles, like take a step back and really relax and get some sanctuary, like maybe there's a retreat you can go on or something, to really reconnect with what it is that brings you joy. because right now I just feel like you're kind of in this bound up, like you're too comfortable, but you're also like, you're comfortable but you're bound up, you know, you're too comfortable. You're so comfortable that like it's like I don't want to rock the boat. And this is blocking you from being able to access a more like invigorating type of inspirational energy. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune here. Yeah, it's like, oops, sorry. It's time for changes. King of Pentacles. Okay. I feel like the King of Pentacles and the Emperor are kind of the same, and maybe this is like a father figure in your life. Maybe this is like, I feel like you have modeled yourself after this man, and you're kind of, you feel like you'd be lost without that. But it's like, that wasn't the purpose of this person's role in your life. Like, their role in your life wasn't to make you be them, wasn't to make you follow their path. It was to give you the foundation and sense, teaching you how to feel secure in yourself so that you can embody the Emperor and really stand up for yourself and feel secure in your decision making, not questioning yourself or doubting yourself so much. Right, and so then we have the King of Cups. And so what I've been enjoying sharing about the King of Cups lately is that, you know, like, he's the masculine king of the cups. Now, when we have a queen of a suit, she is tapping into this feminine principle of relating and receiving and being able to organize people, you know, around a cause or an issue or something like that. Whereas the King of Cups, he has done all that. He's like worked with the suit a lot, and especially the suit of cups. The cups are our emotions, our dreams, our psychic abilities, our spiritual, like, you know, our spiritual gifts, our creativity, our ability to imagine, and our imagination and things like that. Now, the King of Cups, he has no issues connecting with that part of himself, that emotional aspect of himself. But he doesn't use this per se to connect with other people. He uses this more so to guide his actions. So he identifies like, oh, I feel very joyful about painting, and I really want to paint. And so because I've identified this about myself and that I love painting, I am going to take actions that protect that aspect about myself. I have a better example. Say you have agreed to do something that at first sounded like a great idea, but now that you've sat with it for a while, it doesn't feel like a great idea. You actually don't want to do it. You've identified this emotion of not wanting to do something, of feeling fearful about something, or just not feeling good about it. The king, having recognized this, now takes it upon himself to set a boundary with the people around him and say, hey, I'm really sorry, but I can't do this. It doesn't feel good, and I need to do what feels good for me. So he's taking action in the interest of protecting his emotional investments and interests. So that's kind of more what this person's role in your life was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be that you make yourself like them. You know, it was more about learning how to have the strength to speak out for what you want, and to set boundaries with other people, and to be able to be comfortable and secure in yourself and your authenticity, and not worrying about how other people are going to respond to it. Just recognizing that you have a responsibility to yourself to navigate those disagreements or conflicts of interest with other people, which is, you know, what boundaries are for. Okay, pile number 4. So I feel like that's what's going to be coming up for you this summer. It's like a shift, you know, you're switching gears. It's like, I thought I was happy with apples, but I'm actually not. I need to go for peaches. And you're kind of scared to do that. You're scared to just leave the apple orchard and go find wherever peaches are. Georgia, I guess. And it's okay, you know? It's okay to change your mind about something. And it's not too late in your life to do that. You can literally do it whenever. There's no hard, fast rule about this. It's okay. So let's look at your Whispers of Healing card. You have Guardian. So yeah, I see this woman on a ship. She's got this guardian coming out of the sea, and you know, it's like you're on this journey, and just knowing that you are protected during this time, that like this shift isn't just, you're not just doing something on a whim. Like, Spirit is here trying to guide you towards this, trying to guide you towards your happiness. Don't limit yourself based on expectations that aren't actually there, you know, that you just kind of created these expectations. That's what the Eight of Swords is. This card indicates communication with your guardian angel or spirit guide. No matter what is going on in your life, you have angels and guardian spirits with you. You have an innate ability to connect with the spiritual energy that surrounds you. Don't wait to be in crisis or an extreme situation before you connect to your spirit guides. You can ask them for guidance on almost anything. Your angels and guardians are here for you, but they cannot intervene unless you ask for their support and guidance. They cannot interfere with your free will, but when you ask for their support, the outcome is often better than you imagined. Be receptive and open to receiving guidance. Be approachable. Having an open attitude will help you feel the love and support your guides have on offer. Messages can come in many forms. You may notice recurring numbers, a specific flower, butterflies, or dragonflies. Your message might come through a song, or you may start finding feathers or coins. These are just some of the many ways you can receive guidance. Once you begin acknowledging these messages, it will help you feel peaceful and shift your energy from negative to positive. A beautiful goddess looks lovingly at a smaller woman who is sitting on the side of a ship. The lotuses filling the water signify wisdom and spiritual enlightenment. The partially open lotus flowers represent a soul that is still opening to its beauty and the spiritual guidance on offer. The starlight and purple shades suggest the presence of protective guardian angels. Everyone can use a little bit of extra help or support. You are being asked to request extra guidance, to be open, and to trust. The outcome may not be immediately apparent, but be assured. The confusion will pass and peace will be regained. That was kind of what we were picking up on the card earlier at the beginning. Okay, pile number 4. Let's look at your blessing. A blessed time. The path is clear and all obstacles have vanished. Your time of waiting is over, so proceed with confidence. The challenges you have faced were essential, for there is a perfect time for everything. Now is your perfect time to be blessed by the universe. Pile number 4, that is all that I'm seeing for you. Thank you so much for coming to my channel and watching this reading. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want to. I really appreciate hearing people's feedback and learning how they've connected to the readings. The day this video is coming out, sorry, more of that burping. The day this video came out is on the 17th. I am at, if you're in the Seattle area, I am at the Stille Valley Center at the Metaphysical Market today from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And August 5th, I will be at the Metaphysical Market again at the Stille Valley Center in Arlington from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then at noon the following day on the 6th, I will be at the PNW Witches Market in Issaquah. And then August 19th and 20th, I will be at Ocean Shores for the MeWe Fair. These fairs are also in my video description, so if you are interested in stopping by and meeting me at one of these fairs that I do, I would love to see you and connect with you. I offer readings and lots of different merchandise that I craft and sell. Some of them are these little plushies that I make. And yeah, I really hope that you pull through this. I really think that you're capable and that you're able to do this, pile number 4. I know that it's not easy, and I really think that you've got most of it down. You just kind of need a little nudge to kind of like leave the nest, so to speak. So pile number 4, please make the most of your summer season and get the ball rolling on this transformation. And I wish you the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.